and we can take it away indeed.
Alrighty, so straight into the pistol, like we said, because one team chose the map, the other one picks the side. And so North choosing to start in the CT side on Complexity's map pick. Not too much of a surprise there. Like we said, coming into this, Complexity probably favorites when it comes down to the maps, like Mirage, like Dust 2. And hopefully North will be able to take it over the line on Nuke to make it happen. Look at that early boost coming through over on the B bomb side. I think AC might have been spotted, though, as he got up there.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. I mean, Flash is going over for the moment, at least not being cleared, as they do mostly go out the window. Yeah, this is awkward. Poison goes straight down. Blame gonna get dropped as well. There is still some opportunity for those trades to come back, and they will eventually to give the 3-on-3, but the issue is time's being taken for them to actually get onto this bomb site. It's allowed for North already to begin rotating and get themselves decent positions, but there's some important damage at least being dealt out by Obo.
Yeah, lighting MSL down very low. This isn't ideal. No kits to play with. They need the kills. MSL on the config at least, and that's going to give them something to play with. But KRB has to make this clutch happen. Rush is being protected here by Obo. Oh, and the headshot again. Obo is mental with this clock. He's done so much damage and finishes off KRB very easily to put it 1-0 for Complexity. A good start for them on the T side, getting through that with relative ease, considering the fact that they almost got completely caught off guard by the player up close in the apartments. And I thought maybe he could have been spotted, but it looks like that boost was just in time that they couldn't spot the pixel angle and see him go into the corner, and they thought they were there quick enough that he couldn't be in that position.
Yeah, it took a long time for him to go down as well when they did, of course, eventually know he was there. Seemed like the second player was still a bit worried, obviously trying to cross over, that someone was going to be peeking from the kitchen, so he ended up trying to fight that a little bit more, got peeked out on by AZ, and as I said, he just wasted a lot of time. But in the end, Complexity, great recovery. Now they're coming into this up against the Force Buy, and you know this is a Force Buy, like the 2 scouts, the 3 Deagles, you can combine together, do a lot of damage, and make these rounds very, very costly, and obviously, of course, have the chance to steal them away. But it's a pretty safe buy. That's something we have to know from Complexity. They've gone mostly just for the rifles here. 3 of them are Galils, to be fair, but obviously still a very capable weapon. And with the mid-control, giving themselves the angles where they have the ability for range, and now, of course, the ability to split in towards A, I would say they're in good positions, but there is a little bit of an A stack going on.
The issue, if you look at the A site now with the scout, looking down, MSL is kind of making up for the lack of armor that he's got to work around. He can make it very easy for Cajun B to take someone down. The only problem is, with not a lot of presence down in middle, KRB playing quite passive, they can come up connector and make a very convincing split. KRB's not currently up close there, so MSL has to peek it. Can't support the ramp player. Now Cajun B's pretty much hung out to dry. I would have preferred KRB to play more towards top con there, but they were still worried about a B split going through. Great returns happening here, though, Dean. It's down to a 3v2 and a flank as well from Gate.
Oh, yeah, this could catch him out. You can see Obo at least look back. He's been slightly cautious, and he may just about catch the timing. Oh, no, apparently not. Gate manages to rip his head off. Unfortunately, we don't get to catch that kill, but we do see KRB taking down Poison, as really there was not much he could do right there. The goal was take that kill towards connector. Even then, the player coming in from the CT spawn and from ramp would have had a little bit of a way to try and just play it off of each other at least. So, I mean, there really wasn't much he could do about winning that one. In North, they steal the Force Buy away. They're able to upgrade to the rifles. As you can see, they get the Krieg, they get 2 of the Galils. Saves them some investment in this round, and now it puts Complexity in a tough spot. I mean, they only got 1,400. Thankfully, did get the bomb plant down, so the boosted extra 800 each. But it's still not enough for them to really buy too much. They can take 1 eco, buy in this next round, but if they do, obviously not going to be much investment in this round at all to try and keep the damage on. And considering North already have been able to actually steal away a couple rifles, save some money, they're in a decent spot here to try and actually build up a lot of economy early on if they can take this round cleanly.
Yeah, very impressive round 1. I'm a huge fan of the scout buy, the double scouts as well. You can see they worked out very, very well. And for Complexity, moving through middle, look at the confidence with the Glocks. They're ready to take a fight. Flash is good. KRB playing very safe. You might not know they're up against just those Glocks. Even if they do, it's not worth risking losing a weapon. They peek out together on mid. But Blame F up top. He's managed to hit the headshot to KRB, at least stealing 1 weapon away. It's a very small positive, but it could help them out in this round. They're up against 1 Khalil, but an AWP is being bought up in its stead, and it looks like, Dean, look who's taking it. We were talking a little bit, it could be Cajun, could be AZ, but it looks like MSL is going to, at least for this round, take it. KRB could be there as well. I think he was using it in one of the previous games against Big quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen MSL in the past, and at the moment it does seem like he's definitely taking the spawn in towards Palace, where Rush is hanging around. Is he going to be peeking out wide enough to give a chance to this op to snatch the kill away is the question. In the meantime, though, actually, the aggression up over towards short for the T side, not really going to work out. I believe it was caught there by AZ. He's just fallen back, is willing to kind of give up that mid control now that they have themselves a one-man advantage so early on already. And of course, still having MSL in towards Palace does keep some info at least. You know, at that point, if they are going to come towards A, it's only going to be ramp and connector split at least. So they've got themselves some decent positioning. And also having Cajun B now up close on ramp. So, I mean, this is going to be tough for Complexity to try and recover from. Having the mid control, I mean, with that, they could bring it back if they're able to trade Cajun quickly on ramp, and that certainly could work out for them. But it seems like Rushy does want to go forward on his own. This could be dangerous if he falls. There's no one here to try and follow it up. But as I say that, Blame F coming through connector does manage to drop Kirby. Now Cajun forced to try and fall back and see if he can play alongside his teammate a little bit more towards Palace. And that's not allowed.
But MSL on that early push, he's still in position. Maybe he can catch a few off. They've spotted him, but he at least manages one for it. The flank coming through from Gate as well. MSL just needs to play safe. He's stopping anybody from crossing out Con. He hears the bomb being planted, but they're just going to take their time. They'll concede that. They do not mind. Gate is the huge player in this round. He catches Rush, an easy kill to have. Poison up close now. The only full HP player, Blame F, just needs to be hit by a gust of wind, and he's out of this round. Tucked away here, MSL's looking for that kill. Again, looks underneath, finds the player, but unfortunately not the kill. And with that, the round's pretty much over. MSL needs to just go in for a save, as he doesn't really have time to find both of these kills. And especially not, I mean, imagine him dropping down onto Poison. That's not an easy shot to hit with an op. And then when you've also got to deal with the second player, it's just, you don't want to be throwing away that weapon for nothing.
You definitely don't want to be giving Poison the op either, so...
Oh, there's that too, actually.
Yeah, that's another thing. If he does go for it, it's probably Poison that gets to pick up the AWP, or at least, obviously, if it was saved over in general, it'd be given to him. And you know how dangerous Poison can be, so you want to restrict that weapon. But obviously, giving them the op themselves in this round, a big deal also. MSL probably will end up keeping it. Gay has now bought one up as well, dropped it over to AZ, I believe. Okay, and MSL keeping his, drops an MP9 over to Kirby. That is, so 2 M4s, 2 ops, and MP9 then being the main weakness. They have a good amount of nades. They have 1 kit at least. So this isn't a bad buy from North. They definitely have the chance to try and return one again instantly. But there's also an opportunity for Complexity if they can get this round here to get off to a really strong start on the T side of Mirage, which would be very good in the beginning. I believe AZ was spotted there jumping up. Yeah, Blame F just instantly falls away. He's like, nah, I don't want to stick around here. I heard that aggression. It actually ends up killing AZ. All right. I'm not too sure what happened in the B apartments, but this round is just crumbling for North right now. Cajun tries to do what he can on that A bomb site, is only able to get one, unfortunately, and that's the bomb site gone, and probably the round as well. This bomb is going to get planted uncontested, and as you can see, Gade hasn't even bothered to leave the B bomb site. He's just going to see if he can, again, maybe save that op over.
Not a very positive start overall for North. The fact that they managed to answer back early on obviously puts smiles in their faces with those 2 rounds, but then things start to tend towards the way we'd expect. When you look at how North played a little while ago up against Big, it was a situation for them that looked fairly solid when it came towards the opping duels. I think Searson got 2 frags with the AWP and died countless times to a combination of KRB, AZ, and MSL picking up that op. I think almost everybody was positive on duels versus them. And the issue then is if you translate the success they had there to this matchup where Poison's on the AWP, you're definitely not having as easy of a time when it comes to those early round duels. You're not going to be taking their op out again and again. It's going to be a much more difficult fight for them, and I think they need to very much reconsider how they're approaching those early duels in that sense, because let's face it, there's not... I would put Poison definitely as the stronger op on this server, full stop. So you don't want to rely on winning rounds by contesting him exclusively.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely agree that Poison is the standout AWP player on the server, and I don't think many people would disagree with you, so certainly not a controversial statement. In the meantime, though, this one is just a full eco, of course, from the CTs, so not really expecting anything. Unfortunately, not really seeing anything either. Sometimes even if you're not expecting it, it can be nice for a couple of kills to come in, keep the damage on at least to the economy, but at the moment, with it just being Cajun B that stands, that is very unlikely. I mean, there's still a lot of time. The bomb obviously yet to be retrieved. If they were to bring it towards A, there could be a bit of a chance, but now he's being spotted by Config. Long range against that AK, not really much chance. He does end up getting dropped, and Complexity, they managed to come out of that anti-eco there with all 5 players alive. That's exactly what they need.
We know as well that North kind of struggle when it comes to the T side. If I take a look back, it was versus Mad Lions that they only managed to pick up 3 rounds out of 15. It was the first time they played them. They did improve a little bit a couple days after, took a couple weeks after when they played Mad Lions again on Mirage and managed to take it to 16-10 instead of a 16-4 loss, but then they started on the CT side. So this is definitely where they look better, but whether they can actually deliver against Complexity, this is going to be the biggest challenge for them so far in recent memories of games, except maybe for Fnatic, who also demolished them on this map. Like, for me, they need to be rocking up. I would not feel confident in North's ability to close this out unless they hit 10 on the CT side, and at the moment that looks very, very unlikely. But their terrorist has been so shaky that below 10 makes it very doubtful for me.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. As we said, I think Mirage is the one map here where I think Complexity are clear standouts. Going on to Nukin and Dust 2, I think they can definitely be much closer ones, but I mean, sure. How this is beginning for sure as well, it does seem like Complexity should get themselves a pretty decent T side, which I think, as you said, won't be ideal for North, but I mean, there's still a chance here in this round. Gade does have his position up in jungle. The issue is BlameF flanking around. The question is, are they going to give him time to actually utilize this position? And indeed, Gade tries to make his way actually back towards the CT spawn himself, I believe, and ends up just going down. So it's all on Kirby. He's stuck and connected. They know his position. As long as they work together here, we shouldn't really see much more than potentially another casualty or so. Although the bomb being down does make things a little bit more awkward, especially as the smoke is wasting further time, so they're not going to have too much. They're going to have to just try and swing it in on him now in a second and ensure they get that kill. And there we go. With the flash going in, he turns away, his back exposed. Config has an easy kill.
That's unfortunate as well, because 2 of those players, both Config and Rush, were 1 hit to that deagle, and things could have spiraled out of control so quickly with just the headshot needed on BlameF to close it out then. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen. That was a little bit of a wild round. Now North have got more chances of closing it out with the double up setup returning. But, I mean, it didn't go too well last time. Let's hope that there's a little bit of a change of pace from Complexity to give North a bit more room to breathe. With smoke down early on, KRB looks to go in for a little bit of a duel towards the top and middle, but besides, maybe that's not the best of ideas. He has got support there. AZ is pushed up with the AWP, watching for anybody pushing close. But KRB really needs to be cautious of them coming in through underpass and indeed going on the bench as well, because he doesn't want to leave AZ in a position where he can't swing out any wider if he wants to.
Obo could be in trouble here. I mean, Cajun's getting aggressive on ramp, and I believe he is going to be flashed in. Yeah, the timing's perfect, knowing that there was at least 1 player up close because of that Molotov being thrown in, the amount of pressure that had been shown, and having actually lost mid-control, they decide, okay, we need this ramp right now so we can hold if it is this A split. And then a Molotov as well, actually going to delay Rush. That is not a kill, apparently, from MSL. We'll follow it up, thankfully, and finish him off. So a pretty firm 5-on-3 now at this point for North, as they are looking the best we've seen them in quite a few rounds, we'll put it that way. I haven't actually taken any damage yet. One issue being, though, they don't have that much utility. Couple smokes, couple flashes, and a Molotov at this point. But there isn't that much time for Complexity either. And with the way they're currently set up, they're not really in spots to help each other. Config, thankfully, does get one as he comes in through jungle, but with the trades coming back, there's not really much that can be done anymore.
Not at all. And North finally closing a round out. They do it fairly convincingly as well. And that's the first time we've seen success from them in the full-buy round, and indeed even lacking success, just not a disaster because they were derailed the previous times they attempted it. But now on 5-3, it's not too late. They can definitely find themselves in what would normally be a decent position. It is, as I said, their T side I get worried about. The money is not fantastic, so they need to avoid losing too many players. But the problem is that we saw Complexity winning so many rounds and fairly convincingly. Look at AZ here, actually. He's in a great spot early on. And down goes Config. He's sticking around, and he's got BlameF as well. He's still not leaving. AZ's got balls of steel. Eventually, Shirley decides it's time to say goodbye, and he starts to fade back. They don't need to play aggressive anymore. They've got a 2-man advantage, and Complexity are grouping up on the B bomb side. Gade's down. AZ's still aggressive on short, though, so he's got to play super passive, and B is almost completely lost.
If he can get one more, then I think they should be okay, and indeed, I'm kind of surprised he continued peeking there, I guess, hoping, of course, he could try and get one more, just completely lock down B in general, but, I mean, still leaves them in a somewhat decent position, at least for this retake. Kirby looking to flank up through the apartments. I'm not sure if it's being watched at the moment. Rush is kind of taking a position where he can cover kitchen as well as the apartments, so he is in a pretty decent spot to help out. Poison actually takes that angle in towards the kitchen, and suddenly it's all on Cajun B. He realizes there's nothing I can do anymore. My teammates have all just kind of crumbled, and yeah, I do think AZ definitely shouldn't have re-peeked in there on short. It probably would have been handy enough if they just were like, okay, we have a 4-on-2, sure, let them get the bomb plant, let's just play this retake together. I mean, look at the amount of utility Cajun B alone has. I'm sure the others had a bit between them as well. And
yeah, AZ only had a smoke, I think, when he went down. So he wasn't quite able to, like, I was thinking if he had a molly, that would have been pretty amazing, but you remember he threw it to top mid, actually. So, yeah. But again, if he didn't play, let's play have a little exercise. He finds 2 kills mid, he then goes back, plays from back on short or anywhere around the B bomb site itself. He still has a molly. They start moving forward. He drops the molly in as soon as Gade dies. Now they're rotated in. They're on the B bomb site and they're looking good. 2-man advantage. Absolutely no need to keep on that aggression. And then to see him still do it after he found the pick in apartments, like you said, you were surprised he was still peeking. And Poison just posted on the angle, waited, and AC gave the opportunities away. That's a really disappointing round to me for North. Again, highlighting some of the problems that they have. That could have been one in the bag, and Complexity are feeling blessed to be able to take that. Also, Kirby got so damn unlucky. I don't know if you caught it, but he was walking through the apartments the whole time, gun trained, ready for Rush to be around that position. But as soon as his teammate fell, I think in kitchen, he took his knife out and started the shift walk with his knife. And that cost him, because it was as he walked through the doors, Rush was pushing up. Easiest kill of Rush's life. An easiest round for Complexity, really, considering how that started.
Yeah, I guess at that point started presuming that if they were willing to take the fight towards kitchen with just 2 players alive, that they were both probably taking that fight together. So, as you said, yeah, a little bit unfortunate. Taking the knife out, probably an interesting choice. I think you move slightly slower maybe with your weapon out when you're shifting.
And across such a small distance, really. Like, yeah. It's not necessary.
My dog is currently barking. She is excited for this game as well.
I don't blame her. As we said, though, the fun really starts after this. Hold on, we're getting aggression across the map from North. They've pushed up ramp. They've seen no one's there. And Gade decides, I've got a W key as well. Into apartments he goes. AC's coming with him. This is a different face in North right now. They're getting up in Complexity's grill. And I would be very surprised if I was the T side to see Gade up around that smoke.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be dangerous right now. They just still want to go forward. That's actually the bomb. If Poison falls right now, this round is just probably over at that point. Gets blinded. He's still not gone down somehow. Flash in, hits the no-scope. All right, Poison. Now they have B. Okay, the fact that they've actually been able to make it through that hold right there, it looked like it was just dead in the apartments completely, is kind of ridiculous. I mean, Poison's still low, so the 3-on-3 isn't a terrible position. But as you said, yeah, the ability right now for this flank as well to come in by Blame F could shut this down before there's really any chance at the retake.
Yeah, this is it done. Look, Kirby so focused over towards the door. Blame F spots him. Easy kill. Occasion being a 1v2. He's got a smoke. He drops it down. Taps the bomb. Not good on the flick, though. And Config takes the frag to put 7 on the board for Complexity. Really, North have been robbed. But more so, they've robbed themselves. They've stopped the stagecoach and the what do they call? Bandits. That's the word. Have come up alongside and taken them for everything. I mean, with 7 rounds on the board, Complexity, just looking at North in how they've been playing Mirage in recent memory, will not be able to close this out if their T side is in that same form. So they've already got pressure on themselves if it's 8-7, and that requires them to win a lot of rounds compared to what they've been able to muster so far. Starting it with pistols and no armor definitely doesn't help either.
Yeah, I mean, in another round here where we're not expecting much of North, unfortunately, so the 8 most likely, and as you said, at that point it's really getting out of control for North considering their statistics on the T side and how they normally fare on the T side of Mirage, so it's going to be tough for sure. Right now, Cajun B getting aggressive through Palace. It is actually being spotted by a player back in spawn, so I don't think he's going to get to do a lot unless he hits a ridiculous flick on this Deagle. Rush at the moment isn't peeking. He's waiting until someone's a little bit out in the open, but there we go, okay. Didn't have to flick it too much. The crosshair was actually pretty close. AZ manages to catch one as well, and suddenly it's been pulled back into the 3-on-2 with Gade also fragging. This is just crumbling for Complexity. What is happening? They've got the bomb now as well. He's been here, definitely dropping down. I don't think he's going to expect to play up close. Will actually clear it, okay. Gets Gade, but takes a lot of damage, so at this point being left on 13 health with 2 players to take down who are now actually both located towards the bomb. So I don't think there's really much that he can do about this. And indeed, beginning to back away now that he's got the AWP, I believe. Will, with that, be able to drop it over in the next round? And Poison then, I believe, could give a rifle to Obo. So they will be able to pull out another full buy at least.
Money's not a huge issue for Complexity. Even if they have to take an eco every now and then, it doesn't really matter to them. It's so many rounds built up. They're feeling insanely confident. But I look at it as a good answer back by North. They've picked up 2 Kriegs, so things are looking positive for them. Now, whether they can consistently string these together, though, or not, that's the question. Because we've seen the flaws from them throwing away that round. Now keeping it together is going to be difficult. A double op setup for them, 2 Kriegs. Quite a lot of scopes around. And at the moment as well, you got to remember, Complexity haven't had to stress themselves too much in terms of, putting out heavy strategies. And they've got a lot that they can do to try and change this up. Whereas North, I don't know if they're in that same boat.
Oh, look at this just quick B play right now. I mean, they're only even sending 1 player in towards the apartments. It's 4 that are going up short, so this could get difficult if Blame F isn't able to contribute pretty quickly. And indeed, he does manage to catch Gaither as he's thrown in a flash. AZ still posted up, already being tagged down a little bit. And as soon as those rifles close in the distance, there's not a lot that he can do with the op. Rush doubles down as Kirby gets dropped, and with that, the bomb is going to be planted. MSL is being spotted, at least in the kitchen, so they know where the opper's coming from. For the moment, at least, they don't know Cajun B is also towards kitchen. But I don't think there's a lot that North can do about this. Again, just trading rounds back and forth is not good enough when you're on the CT side.
No, it absolutely isn't. Complexity are looking favored, even if it ended up on like an 8-7 scoreline, which now looks even more improbable. That was so well handled on the push through as well. You saw Blame F find the kill on the bomb site. More important is what he did afterwards, or at least equally important, is he tucks in the corner. AZ was scoped in, ready for him to peek, but he waits until Rush is on the bomb site, and they both swing in together, grab themselves 1 frag, and Rush obviously follows out with a wider peak to take down the player coming out of kitchen. Complexity are showing us that they're well structured. I mean, not that anyone's really surprised about that. And that's a little bit upsetting then when you look at North, who, as we have already highlighted a couple of times, didn't have that same kind of discipline to stop going forward, stop looking for the kills, even when they were hitting pretty nuts shots. Looking at AZ for that one. That said, AZ's doing very well, certainly carrying the team forward in the fragging department. But over on the Complexity side, it's the man who we saw with the restraint, 13-5. And an even further point, I suppose, for Blame F, he hit a good shot on the bomb site. He was finding the kill. And the fact that he's having a blowout game at the moment still doesn't get over-aggressive. To have restraint when you're playing really well is kind of the more difficult thing, to not get overconfident.
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, once you're feeling confident, you'll take those risks, and if you're playing well, obviously they will pay off sometimes, but they're not always going to. That's the issue. I mean, a gamble is a gamble. But I mean, 8-4 at the moment for Complexity. It's certainly getting a little bit out of control. North need to ideally take the 3 remaining rounds if they want to be at all happy with how this half has gone. And even then, as you said, it is going to be a bit of a struggle for them once they do swap to the T side. But yeah, nothing too crazy.
The change of pace. Yeah, exactly, right? The change of pace to the previous round where they were rushing into the B bomb site, splitting through short. Now they go nice and slow. Complexity, like we said, they're not stuck into one strategy at the moment. North go for the same as before. They push into ramp and they push into the B apartments, holding the control there. Gate is allowed to rotate in towards middle, where you've got both AZ and KRB now playing, looking for those frags. This is very dangerous for Complexity because they're looking to split into A. North basically know that. Now, Cajun B is a little bit too aggressive for my liking, but he is starting to pull back every now and then, just kind of spotting it for the information. Now, when they spot him, oh no, AZ couldn't fall in that position. That basically ruins the strategy. Kirby can maybe find 1 kill, catches them off guard, but now the ramp push is coming through and they need to find the kills. They're doing it though, Dean, even despite losing what was a massive part of the push. North are still able to finish the round out pretty much. The flank's beautiful for Gade.
Yeah, he is a free kill at least on Rush, and then Poison at that point just going to be trapped in towards ramp, so I don't think there's really much that he can do. He actually gets taken down by Kirby before I can even swap over to see if he gets a chance to maybe snatch some kills, but yeah, okay, Nort, they've brought it up to 5 now, as we said, though they ideally do need to get all that remains if they want to be in a somewhat comfortable position. Even then they're in a tough spot, so they need to keep it up. This round here, not great from Complexity. They've actually finally been put in a spot where the economy doesn't give them that full buy. They only have 2 rifles, couple P250s then, and a deagle for config, so it is very limited. And if North get this round, obviously in the next one only 1900 for Complexity, it's going to be a similar buy, although a lot worse obviously if they don't save those 2 rifles over. Oh, that nade on the config should do some good damage, and indeed down to 50. Again, North not challenging too heavy towards mid, they're kind of just letting Complexity take it, but in this round at least a little bit of damage being done by the nade. They're at that point, they're like, okay, we'll just give this up for now. And surprisingly, not really getting aggressive anywhere. They do at least have a smoke down aggressive in the B apps, but in the previous rounds, we've mostly seen them having some sort of aggression towards ramp. If they have given up that mid control, you can see now with how passive they are playing, it's definitely just going to have to be for the retake if that split does come in. But Kirby, he actually catches Blame F in towards jungle.
Blame F is a huge player to be taken down for Complexity. They're going to struggle to answer back into this round. With the pistols in hand, they move on forward, and Rush is falling. The AWP has support up close, and he can just tuck in, and Cajun should be able to completely catch them off guard with such an early rotate. They might think the Opper's stuck up close. And the bomb's moving forward. This is Cajun B's time to shine. Catches off Poison and Oboe. And it's all down to config, and a 1v5. A deagle is all he's got to work with. He found 1 kill, and Kirby's wise to not re-peak that on 22 HP. Didn't want to be dropping any more weaponry, but even if they did, they'd still be able to rebuy up. Coming into the last round, Complexity, they're struggling. But 8 on the board, it is still a fantastic half from them, just compared to the fact that we know North struggle on the T side, so they've set themselves up for success. Finding this final one would be a really nice bonus, though.
Yeah, definitely, but as you said, Complexity are not going to be feeling too upset. I mean, considering they did have the opportunity for a lot more, they'll probably be like, okay, guys, not as good as it could have been, but we're still in a good spot. I think they'll keep their heads high, of course, but yeah, I mean, if they can get 9 here, that'll give them a little bit of security, especially for if they do lose the pistol. But let's see, only having the pistols in Kevlar here, limited utility, although the flashes are destroying AZ. He still is alive at this point, eventually going to actually go down, but in the meantime, it is Kirby that's actually left to try and hold the bomb site. Gets a quick double on the M4, and the 2 remaining players just looking to try and swing out together, struggling to get the kill. But they will eventually find this B bomb site. The issue is getting the bomb down as it's dropped at the moment, kind of out in the open, the op peeking in from short, making it harder for them to cross back over as well. So they are just looking to try and force the 2 versus 1s, or I guess at that point 1 versus 1s, because they don't really peek Cajun together.
All's well that ends well for Complexity at the end of the day. They can still look very positively at the half they've just played out. North could actually have been on that 10 round, now that I'm looking at it. If they had a 1 when AZ found those 2 opening duels, this half could have went completely differently, because that left them down to a weaker buy in the next, and then a position where they couldn't really do what they needed to. They could easily be 9-6 up, and that would set them into a position where they could definitely pull it off. But that little bit of a lack of rounds to me means that if they lose the pistol and fail to force buy after, Complexity of 99% close this map out. That is what we thought coming into it. The Complexity would look favored on Mirage. But to be honest, I suppose it could have also went a little bit worse for North in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, no, definitely. With how it actually kicked off for them, for sure. I mean, they didn't have the worst start because they lost the pistol, managed to actually win the force by then, got themselves the 2-1 lead before losing the actual gun round then, I believe it was. So, I mean, they had a decent start in itself. It was just from that point on, they didn't really do much towards the middle of the half. Then begun to recover it a little bit, but as we pointed out, obviously, still a position where Complexity, especially if they get the pistol, are probably going to be feeling very comfortable with their chances of actually closing this map out, and probably doing so in a pretty convincing fashion as well.
Just looking at the performance from North in the past, they've either got 7 or 8 rounds every time they're on the CT side, or every time that they start here. Just looking at the last games they had versus Gen G, Mad Lions, Gambit Youngsters, and Namiga, but their T sides like I said, that's been the underwhelming part. They were decent enough against Gen G and ACS, but then when you look at elsewhere when they play Mad Lions, things didn't go according to plan. I'm hoping, although they did decently against Gambit Youngsters, it has to be said, but just more recently against against this level of teams anyways, their performance hasn't been overwhelmingly positive. I mean, that's why they've got Nuke coming up next. That's where they'll look. I mean, they'll look a whole lot better, sure. But the thing is, Complexity don't look a whole lot worse, right? That's the issue we have with this veto overall. Although I don't really feel like the veto could have went better for North. It could only have went worse, but it doesn't mean it's the best possible scenario. Well, it does. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean they'll win. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, the only way maybe you could have went better if you were to flip the order of the maps and put Dust as the first map and Mirage as the decider instead, because then you feel like
Sure, yeah.
then there's a chance that North could maybe get to 2-0. But yeah, I agree. Nuke and Dust being in there are probably two maps where North have their best chances in this matchup. But as you said, Complexity, I don't think we'll really see their level dropping off much. It's just about if North can actually step it up themselves, because Mirage just isn't a great map for them. People can see that clearly, and we do expect more from them coming up on Nuke. And I'd say maybe especially Dust 2. I don't know though. I think Nuke might actually be their better chance. I was going to say Dust 2, also one that does look good for them, but then Complexity, that's a map that they play a lot.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, you could easily have seen Complexity pick Dust 2 instead of Mirage, but I think it was a very pointed veto to choose Mirage just because it gives them that better chance, obviously, of the two up against them. And also, picking Dust 2, just don't do it, please. Yeah, my sanity.
The amount of utility, though, this is just a full-on A execute. Not something you see a lot in these pistol rounds. Complexity, I mean, kind of standard for you to go for the A retake anyway, so it is going to work out for the bomb to be planted in the 5-on-5. And they're going to go towards the CT spawn. So yeah, very, very standard on this play. Nothing too crazy. They get flashed over. They're going to look to try and take these fights, hold the CT spawn and control them with that, make it very difficult for Complexity to actually retake. But let's see when the action actually kicks off, because so far it is a little bit slow. They flash forward, rush. He denies the rush, ironically. Does eventually get taken on himself. Kirby going to be able to find Obo as well. That does give them the control of the CT spawn now, especially as they drop Blame F. He was pinned in the corner. Gade being pushed down, manages to take another, and now it's the 1-versus-1. Poison against Gade. Poison taps the bomb, but he doesn't have a kiss, so there's not enough time despite getting that kill. So that is going to be North getting themselves 8, tying up the scoreline, and getting what we said was a very crucial pistol round for them to have the chance here to try and build up some early momentum on their T side.
That's such a shame, though, that the kit was down in CT. Poison not able to get it in time, obviously. Had they have won that fight, if Gade didn't... Again, that kind of highlights the importance of it. If Gade didn't find that kill, they would have been able to pick up the kit, get to the bomb site, probably in time to get the defuse in, but they couldn't get it done. And now North picking up that round. That is a lifeline that they needed. Huge work from Gade. And moving into an 8-8, a tied-up scoreline. They've obviously got the chance and the probability of picking this one up. This is disgusting. They're stacked up outside A. It's going to be a 5-man push, full utility. And it's going to be pretty much just rushed by himself, getting, well, rushed. Unless Poison and Blame F play proactively and push through those smokes very soon. They pop a flash over. Looks like they're going to do that. And now Complexity actually really putting up a fight for it. Poison in there with a tag on the scout. So much damage being done. Rush doesn't stand a chance. But they've gotten enough that this can definitely work once those smokes fade and the Deagles and the scout can really start to hit those range duels.
Oh yeah, no, I'm certainly scared at this point for Nord. It was a great attempt on the execute in general. I think that bench molly, though, being a bit too late is actually what cost them so much damage. And they've been slowed down so much. I mean, at this point, Complexity could be considering that there, of course, is the possibility someone may be lurking. But pretty soon they are going to find out that's not the case. Everyone's trying to peek in. All right, Poison just rips off Gade's head. Obo going to be able to actually get one as well. So now it's all on AZ and trying to push down that player in jungle. He will get dropped by that Deagle of Blame. So, yeah, I mean, Complexity, they just go ahead and snatch it away. They get revenge for what we've seen in the first half, where it was Complexity who got the pistol and lost the follow and force buy.
Yeah, exactly. Answer him back. And I love those rounds where you have the pistols, the scouts to work around. It leads to really scrappy combat, but none have the confidence to push with that scout and no armor, quite like Poison does. Straight through the smoke to bench while being shot. He was lit down to like 75, or he was hit for like 75 damage, and he continued to move forward. Got a tag on that helped his teammates with the Deagle instantly kill someone. I mean, the Deagle becomes an op as soon as the person's tagged by a scout, even with the armor on. And so it was really worthwhile for him. I'm surprised he wasn't taken down, but He was like a shadow. He was seen for a second, and as soon as they looked at him and shone that light there, he disappeared back through the smoke and behind the stairs. Oh, they've lost Rush again. This is a really bad start, but Poison answers in with one on the scout. A quick headshot to occasion B. Oh, blame F. He's very lucky not another Deagle shot lands on him, but I think Gade might just have to jump once that smoke fed. No, he doesn't. He gets caught by Config. Oh, if he's stuck inside the smoke, he might have actually taken blame F down.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. It does seem like Complexity have managed to actually bring this round back, as you said, a little bit awkward once Rush went down. But considering at the moment both of the remaining North players have very little to work with and they're also split up, I guess the hope is that with MSL showing himself soon around Palace that maybe they can pull a rotation off of B. But I doubt that's going to happen. I mean, at the moment, Blame F has a flank of his own, so he may be able to spot this soon. Okay, because of this flank, actually, they have rotated Oboe off through short and over towards Connector, so only now are they going to realize, of course, that player's on B. Blame F, what are you looking at? There's one player left and they just planted the bomb. Alright, yeah, they shouldn't struggle too much with this, I don't think. Kirby only has a P250, although two of them are low, so there's a chance for more damage.
Yeah, that's it. Every little helps at this point. Kirby's in a position that he can focus on one player at a time, and Poison's the one coming through. 29 HP, down he goes. That's good stuff. If I was Kirby, I'm just running towards that gun and getting out of there, but it's very easy for us, I guess. We know there's not a player in window. We know there's not one in CT. Kirby didn't, so they tried to get another kill as they crossed the site, but it's not possible. And 10-8. Complexity do well to shut that down, losing the pistol and then answering back, putting your opponents down to, for the most part, an eco. Things don't get much better than that, really. I'm curious to see if North pick up a little bit of utility and try something, but it looks like just a few pistols. No utility sprinkled throughout.
I mean, they only get 2,400, so it's not too surprising that they don't buy much utility, but maybe instead of even the Deagle onto one of the players, they could have pulled out a smoke and a couple flashes, just given the chance for maybe a stairs smoke, pile out Palace, you know, keep a standard basic stuff, you know. But I mean, they are just going to try and split onto A. The thing is, though, Gade probably just going to get dropped in towards Connector because there is a player aggressive there already, although Rush again going to go down without being able to find anything at all. Drop straight towards Triple. That may give the bomb plant over. Poison doing what he can to stop it, but not quite in time. So a bomb plant being found, that is a big bonus for North. That's really why we wanted to see the utility being bought up, so they could use it to get the bomb down. It doesn't seem like they're going to get any more damage apart from that one kill, but at least they boost up their own buy now. But this is kind of where they need to pick it up. If they don't win out this gun round, then I don't feel like they're going to have really much of an opportunity to get back into this game. If Complexity do take this one, at that point it's going to be like 13-8. We already pointed out that North do tend to struggle here on the T side of Mirage, and I mean, already at this point being down 8-11, it's certainly worrying.
Worrying is the right word. Surprising would not be. North need to do a lot to recover this. I know the scoreline looks close, but we've already painted the picture before and given the reasons why they need to do better. North on the T side, moving forward through mid. They're lucky to avoid Poisons off the first time. Not so lucky the next two. He's going out for more, but Blame F's cleaning them up. And down below, AZ is hoping to tuck in and catch someone off guard, but that wasn't the play. The spam into holding a nade out, and he gets peeked by just one player, but Config had support of two more just about to come around the corner. And 12-8 we go. North, that buy round was not what we needed to see from you at all. Just straight down mid, getting picked off by the gap in the smoke, the AWP had. And then a bit of a disaster after they lose those first two kills.
That was just destruction from beginning to end, and beginning to end really wasn't a very long time either. So yeah, that gun round really did not go well for North. Again, now just being put down onto the weaker buy. This time they get some nades, they get Kevlar behind their pistols at least, and they are looking to try and split B with just one player around mid, most likely. So I mean, there's a chance if they can get to 2 kills quickly, if they can try to get the bomb down, then obviously holding B with the pistols can certainly be doable on the after plant. But with how it's been going so far, it does look like Complexity should get themselves that 13-8 lead. And here we go already, the bomb being dropped. Config blinded and dinked, so there was a chance for that trade to come in quickly, but he still gets a second before actually going down. So that should be enough. Oboe here to hold it. Another player coming in, True Kitchen to help out as well. Not even needed. as Obo cleans up alongside Blame, who was able to get that mid lurker. So 13-8, no casualties taken. Complexity's economy is completely out of control. They're not going to be ecoing anytime soon. I mean, even by the time that if North, for example, now don't lose any rounds from this point forward, even by the time North bring it back up to 13-13, Complexity, sure, the money they have now will be gone, but they'll have the full loss bonus, and with little bits of money and such left over, they probably shouldn't be struggling. So it's a tough spot for North to be in. They do need to win at least a few rounds in a row to even put a dent in the economy. It's those first shots for Poison that he's struggling with.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like a calibration shot. Once you miss the first,
it's like I've got the wind now. I know what I'm doing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's gauging the wind, the distance, the drop off, all things that exist in Counter-Strike.
Totally.
Yeah. If you hit the op shot just right, it goes slow motion and follows the bullet.
Yeah, you can curve it.
Yeah, you have to turn really.
It's like that missile thing in Fortnite. Yeah, you just control it with your mouse, the bullet instead.
Yeah. They have to dodge the bullet while it's coming at them. Oh, I wonder how much hate you're gonna get for saying the word Fortnite in this. Loads.
I didn't even know what it was called. I was like that Fortnite thing.
Yeah, the rocket thing. I don't know.
I've seen clips of it. But yeah, I was gonna say overall being a much slower round right now. Config though, he did have that pixel angle, catches Cajun B and brings it already into a 5-on-4.
Cajun was basically playing peekaboo with him. He's just running back and forth.
Kind of asking for it, yeah, at that point.
Yeah, literally.
He was like, is there an upper holding this angle? I'm trying to... Yeah, I found it. There is, guys. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, there's not much time. They're only moving up through connector now with 15 seconds remaining, so this is going to be very difficult. They need that player in Palace as well to actually pop out soon and help them, and unfortunately that's not happening. As of yet, they didn't clear the back corner either, so Blame F is able to get himself one. But the bomb does go down, so there's still chances here. MSL has a decent position to actually try and play off of that bomb. Unfortunately, now loses his teammate, so is left in the 1-on-2. But as we can see, no utility actually left for the CT side. They don't have a smoke to put down on that bomb. They just need to try and cover it off, get one on it, and try and actually deny MSL from just stopping it with these frags, and it's not happening. MSL just falling back a little bit. I mean, he is being pushed down now by Blame, who has the kiss, so if he can get this kill quickly, there is still time, but MSL just holding the angle. You seen Blame F trying to jiggle peek it a little bit, see if he could bait out the shot, but it wasn't happening, and in the end, he just had to go for it. What a round from MSL.
Well, maybe he'll take the op for a bit now. Go back to it. One thing I like about North at the moment is the fact that they can throw the ops around a little bit. There's so much capability on this lineup to take them. But on Complexity, I think they benefit a lot from having the one player who, I mean, apart from the couple of missed shots we've seen so far, has been insanely dominant with the op at all levels of Counter-Strike, really. When you think back, what was it, 2 years ago, Dean? We saw him in Romania?
Romania?
Back when he was playing for B-Pro?
Bulgaria, you mean?
Bulgaria, was it?
You
okay.
Fool.
Yeah, but it was...
countries.
Yeah, sure, it was it Bucharest game week?
Yeah, Bucharest game week, I believe.
You're like Budapest or Bucharest?
Bucharest. No, sorry, my mom was speaking to me. She chooses horrible times to try and speak to me.
It's all good. But yeah, like he was insane back then, and now, obviously, things have kicked up for him. He's kept that upturn in performance. Poison, look at his aggression. It doesn't pay off this time though. He's completely cut down. Now Rush bail him back. He's not had a good time in the A side so far. He's doing a little bit of damage, but flash to high heaven and taken out. Hazy is overcoming this round like crazy, overtaking it. And looks like Complexity are going to fall back, but not ready for that play through mid as Kierby picks up a free kill. Blame F, who's been playing fantastically so far today, has got a 1v2 to win out.
Yeah, no, and he can't. Nice position from Kierby there, just up on the short boost spot, able to catch the legs as he comes through the mortar hole. And, I mean, that position very often does live up to its name. Most of the time, if you go through that and someone's posted up on it, you have zero chance of living, pretty much. I've seen it happen. You can hit those nasty B-hops through. But overall, not really a lot that could be done at that point. And it is North beginning to pull this back a little bit. I mean, I said the economy of Complexity was in a spot where they weren't going to suffer for a while, but it's really not perfect right now. Rush will be able to get his buyout. It'll be limited in utility. Config going to have to go for a weaker weapon, most likely, unless there's already one on the ground, which I don't believe is the case. So it's not a great investment if this one goes wrong for Complexity, if they aren't able to win this one. At that point, then, we should see 12 for North before another buy comes in, meaning that gun round is going to be extremely important for who's able to get that little push towards the finish line. And indeed, Rush actually goes for the FAMAS so he can get the full nades instead, and Config, he decides the CZ is enough. I wouldn't mind another kit if Config was to buy it up. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Config.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to have the kits spread out a little bit. And we saw already, just having a kit alone doesn't win you rounds. After, in the pistol round, Poison couldn't get to it in time. And of course, you're probably not going to have 2 kits in the pistol round. You'd be a bit of a lunatic to roll with that strategy. Well, look at North. Early on, they're spread out. They're playing this one slow. Cajun B again looking to tempt fate in towards the B bomb site, but this time there's no AWP sat down there patiently watching it, so he's probably going to get away with it. They're spread out, just looking for the mid control a little bit later, and they're allowing Complexity to play aggressive, which is exactly what's coming through. They've decided to pull a full rotate as well over towards this A bomb site, which is a very brave strategy. I mean, B was completely open there for 15 seconds at least.
I mean, this again, North have actually been playing this D side really slow, especially in comparison to what we've seen from Complexity, because obviously they went for some very, very quick rushes towards A and then the B splits as well. But 50 seconds now, it looks like they do want to start getting a move on. Most of their players going to be focused around Connector, that deep jungle smoke, I believe, going down. Should be able to give them a little bit of help. No one actually in towards jungle at the moment. Instead, Complexity have already shifted that focus back around towards the CT side. Obviously, having Rush up close on ramp as well does give them a good hold to try and put this, try and lock this one down. But it's just not really working out. Gade gets himself that double, manages to deal with the potential crossfire between the CT spawn and Tetris, and with the smoke down as well, Poison just couldn't really do anything else. BlameF is still just kind of lurking on their palace, and they are eventually beginning to pull this one back despite that bomb going down. Kirby has no idea that BlameF was up on the bricks. Final kill comes in as well as he shifts his attention to jungle, and that just swung back very quickly from a 2-on-4.
It did indeed. I mean, you don't usually see them go that bad and then that good so quickly, but in the blink of an eye, you would have missed that round. Complexity 14 on the board, Dean. Things aren't looking too good for North, especially not when you take a look at the cash they've got to play with. At this point, do they want to go for a buy? Well, with 3 rifles that they can play around, why not? And the Galil as well, obviously, now a much more viable weapon to be taking out. It gives them a full buy with pretty much full utility as well. Just the lack of one-shot, headshot weapons on 2 players. Complexity-wise to buy up all that head armor. And actually, Obo even down to an SMG, but he's playing the B-bomb side as the anchor mostly, so it's not too big of a deal if he's rocking in with that. Obviously, there's a lot of angles that are viable over there, and they've decided to boost him up into apps and let him run straight on through as the T's come out of the A side. What is going on? Rush, who's been having a difficult time so far, is just easily picking them off as they walk out of Palos, completely unaware of him. And now Kirby again tries to late come down middle, but BlameF's had enough of being caught off guard by that play. How does he get Cajun as well?
I don't know. That looked like it really should have been a kill right there for Cajun. I don't know how he wasn't able to find it, and then it left AZ alone. But with that MP9 as an easy final kill, 15-10. Complexity bringing themselves up to map point here. Again, this is their map choice, so it's not really too crazy, the fact that they have been able to do this. We pointed out that we do expect North to fare a lot better on Nuke, and I think they're doing better here in Mirage than I expected overall. So I do kind of see the hope that, as we presume, we will get a much better performance from them on Nuke, and maybe Dust 2 as well if we make it there. But yeah, I mean, this is a much worse buy here for North than what they had in that previous round. Even it's 2 rifles, a Galil, and an AK. Other than that, just SMGs. I've said this before, it's a nice variety of weapons, but that's not really how we rate the buys.
Here comes a straight out A push. North's in trouble. They managed to... Oh no, they haven't. They haven't dealt with Rush. It took them a little too long. BlameF comes around the smoke. He takes down 2, and this round has gone to hell in a handbasket. Cajun being a 1v3, and I don't think he's getting away with this one, Dean. He's tucked in the corner. They know he's there. Config didn't wait for any support, which is, I guess, like one tiny factor you could consider, but evidently he didn't really need it.